Hey y'all, hope you're doing well today. So in today's message, we're going to take a look at the symbolism of a wreath. I thought that for December, we can just have some fun with it and be inspired by the holiday season and just take a look at some symbolism of things that are very commonly seen throughout the holiday season and just see what kind of message comes through for us, right? So what I'm looking at is this book that I've shared with you all before. It's really cool, and I've already kind of searched for other items related to the holidays in here, and I have not found them, so I may have to seek out some different sources as well. But as far as wreaths, we are in luck. So if you have a copy of the book, it's going to be on page 538, and it's going to be referencing this particular artwork, and it's called Our Lady of the Dry Tree by Petrus Christus. And this is from 1450 and from the Netherlands. So really interesting here. We're going to revisit the meaning of this in just a minute. So let's move forward. Wreath, in the book, it says, is from an Old English word meaning to twist. So since we're looking at this as a noun, I want to take a look at the etymology of the word through that lens as a noun, right? So the Old English noun for wreath is rioa. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Wrioa. And it means a bandage, a band, or that which is wound around. So I found that really interesting because if you think about the purpose of a bandage, it's representative of aid, something that aids us in our healing, right? So I thought that was really interesting. And then it was not related to flowers and what we know a wreath to mean today until the 1560s, right? So knowing that, looking at that artwork that I shared with you all, that was painted in 1450. So kind of interesting, right? And then I also checked up on the verb, the etymology of the verb wreath, which means the book references to twist, but I also found that it means to turn. And then it elaborates in the online etymology dictionary to mean to turn around or to be converted or transformed. So I definitely think that as we go through this life and all these challenging times and all the things that we talk about on my channel, just being lied to and manipulated and just coming into the realization that people are not always as they seem and all the crazy things we go through, right? There are certainly seasons in our life where we learn, we grow, we have to heal, we have to take that time to heal. And in the process, somewhere along the way, we are in fact transformed. So I felt like this was a really relevant symbol after all, as I got to looking into it. All right, so I want to read to you the first paragraph here. And it's talking about the painting that I referenced, okay? So it says, a wreath of leafless, thorned branches from a dead tree encircles the Virgin Mary, robed in scarlet, and the infant Jesus in her arms. The peculiar nature of the wreath anticipates the wreath of thorns that will crown the head of Christ at his crucifixion, mocking his spiritual kingship. Yet, like a bloom resplendent within the circle of death, Mary herself, the miraculous fruit of a barren woman, or dry tree, quote unquote, holds the sweet fruit of divine promise. The Son who is crucified will be resurrected. And so, I thought that was really something because I wasn't aware of this. So in the notation here about that artwork, it elaborates and says that the dry tree on which Mary stands in the painting alludes to her mother, Saint Anne, who miraculously conceived though she was barren. So I just, if you think about the symbolism in this story that is represented in the artwork itself, it's pretty incredible. So it just goes to show, what can come from a situation that seems like the end. a situation where it feels like everything's over, or there's no hope for the future, or all the goodness of this season of your life is gone, or dried up, and so there's this message of hope, of more to come. So let's read a little bit further. So again, this is on page 538. This is the last paragraph. It says, wreaths adorn dwellings and public structures, sanctuaries and burial grounds, evoking seasonal milestones and conjunctions of energies. The harvest wreath celebrates first fruits and marks the equinox that initiates autumnal waning. So I wanted to pause here and because this caught my attention. I want to point out the fact where it says the harvest wreath celebrates first fruits. I feel like in our modern society and culture, we're farming isn't as prevalent, for a lot of us like it was back in my grandparents' time, especially my great-grandparents' time, because they had a farm. And so I've heard my dad, who was raised by his grandparents, tell me how great it was, when the cooler weather came around, because it was like all that hard work that was put into work in the fields, in the summertime. They got to just sit back and enjoy the fruits of their labor, from all the warm weather. So the first fruits, I feel like a lot of times we associate spring with new life, but I thought that was cool, how it points out that the harvest wreath celebrates first fruits. And, it's just kind of like, yeah, that totally makes sense when you think about Thanksgiving. But I just wanted to pause and point that out, especially as we're heading into the type of weather for a lot of us that, depending on where you live, but especially where I am, and in the wintertime in the northern hemisphere here, there is such a thing as depression that is spurred and made worse by weather that's just drab. It's just overcast. It's cold. I'm pretty sure at some point in my past I've read about the benefits of sunshine and what that does in your body with regards to vitamin D and how that affects your happy hormones, how all that works together. So I just wanted to give you that little bit of hope that, the fruits from your efforts, from your labor, can happen at any time. And so just hang on to the promise of God's design, which is the circle of life, that as the old dies off, there will be new to come again. So let's go ahead and continue reading here. It says, solstice wreaths of holly and red berries refer to the evergreen spirit of nature. I love that. That returns the germinating light at the darkest time of the year. Funeral wreaths celebrate the flowering of life, commemorate a specific life, and signify rebirth. And though the organic elements that constitute a wreath inevitably dry out and wither, it is only another allusion to the circular continuity the wreath evokes. Like the year king, the wreath once crowned, old will be replaced by new in unending order. So in looking at this artwork, it's pretty significant to me. I did a little bit of reading on the symbolism of the tree, the dead tree, and how it's representative of the tree that was in the Garden of Eden, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, right? And so in the artwork, it's dead and gone. But yet there are these golden letter A's that are on the tree. And so I believe that's significant. And, nobody really knows exactly what the artist intended here. And there's a lot of speculation. But I just want to share this with you. I feel like the number 15 was significant. And so I looked that up. And it's associated with rest, right? Just like I was talking about, in the summer when you're putting the work in, on the farm, and that can be representative in your life, right? All the efforts that you're putting in to learn and grow, or to heal, or to transform your life, make some changes, whatever it is. There will come a time where you get to rest, where you get to kick back in front of the fireplace, metaphorically, and enjoy the fruits of your labor. So 15, biblically, I found, is meant to represent rest. And it's interesting because it's the 15th that is the first day of the Hebrew month. It's the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, right? And which is representative of just what we had learned about the etymology of the word wreath, right? To be transformed, to be changed. So it's like the resurrection of Jesus in our hearts. Okay, so let me share this verse with you all. 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 8 says, "Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with the old." Okay, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. So just like we talk about a lot on my channel, getting real with yourself, being strong enough to admit when you know things are wrong in the connections in your life, whether it's a parent figure, a sibling, a friend, quote unquote, a partner, a spouse, whatever it is. Anytime there's deceitfulness involved, it's something that we want to let die, metaphorically, right? We want to let that go. We want to turn away from that because it will infect your life in a bad way. And so I love the hope that's captured here in this verse, that we are to keep the feast. I feel like that's the that life force inside of us, not to give up, right? So we're keeping the faith, we're keeping the hope, but we can't do that with the old. It specifically says not with the old, neither, and it specifies, with the leaven of malice and wickedness. So we have to let all that go. If we have resentment, we got to let that go. Bitterness, got to let that go. Whatever it is that's holding you back, even if you physically removed yourself from a toxic environment, whatever it is, if you just have to tiptoe away or just run, whatever it takes to remove yourself from those toxic environments, super, super important. And therefore, we will have hope for a better future and a better present, right? So just encourage you to keep your spirits high, and just know that the circle of life is part of the design of this experience. So thank you so much for coming along to hear the message. I know it's a little bit shorter than normal, but I just want to hopefully be able to offer you several videos like this just sprinkled throughout the holiday season, just to be encouraging for you. So thanks again. I hope that you have a wonderful day, evening, morning, whatever time of day it is for you, and I'll see you again very soon.